How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Baltimore's former mayor Catherine Pugh being indicted by the FBI on 11 counts, including wire fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy. Now, tax evasion is an important thing here, but in my humble opinion, it's kind of an aside. I mean, yes, she did file false tax returns for about 5 years or more. An example of which would be in 2016, where she said she made $31,000 on IRS forms, but in reality, she made $322,000. That's a gigantic difference. But that is not the most important thing here, in my humble opinion. The most important thing here is the wire fraud and a conspiracy as it relates to the Healthy Holly children's books that she came out with. Now, this is kind of a long story, and I'm going to try to get to every point. If I miss something, y'all let me know in the comments below. But let's go back to before she was a mayor, when she was a state senator in Maryland. While she was a state senator, she was also on the board of the University of Maryland's medical system. While she had both of those things going on, there was a no bid contract awarded to the Healthy Holly children's book from the medical system that she was on the board of while she was a state senator. So she is getting paid from the medical system to produce the book, and it's not a small amount of money. You're talking about 5 years just went on, and each year she got $100,000. So $500,000, $500,000 for the book. Now, the issue with that is the book wasn't even a good book. I mean, grammatical errors, just spelling errors, crazy stuff. Okay. Vegetable with no G's in it. That kind of egregious error. Okay. Obviously, she's just trying to get money from that transaction. But beyond that, a lot of the books that were purchased never materialized in a physical form. Okay, that is the big thing, because if you're selling the book, you got to produce it. You can't just be like, oh, I'm not going to give the book out. If you're just getting money, then the whole thing is to use the book as an excuse to get money, and you could do whatever you want with that money rather than actually producing the book, because books take money to produce. If you're not producing books with the money, what are you doing? But we'll move on. Now, it was not just that transaction that raised some alarms and that was kind of crooked. There was also the case of Casa Permanente. Again, she was on the board of the medical system and a state senator. There was a contract awarded to Casa Permanente. They bought like $30,000 of her book. A lot of them didn't show up from what I heard. A Maryland businessman, a Columbia, Maryland businessman, bought $100,000 of the books. He says he only received a sample copy and does not know where the rest of the money went. Now, let's get to her aides and Miss Pugh herself. Two of her aides have already cooperated with the government. They've already reached plea deals. Maybe they snitched on her. I don't know that. All I know is that they did reach a plea deal already. It's already set in stone. One of the aides was taking checks that were supposed to be for the books, and rather than putting them into a bank account or into Miss Pugh's bank account, what he did was go to the counter at Miss Pugh's bank, or where she would bank, and got cash. With that cash, he was giving straw donations to Miss Pugh's campaign. You see what I'm saying? So if you don't know what that is, a straw donation is when you give money in somebody else's name. If you take money from the books, many of which have not been produced and will not be produced, rather than putting that money in the appropriate account, you cash it and then give the money to the person that produced it. I mean, like, what are we really doing? You could just say, hey, here's the money, put it into a person's hand, but you're trying to like be sneaky and do the straw donations. So rather than the person giving the money to themselves straight from the book sales, rather than just taking money you get in the account, like on the PayPal account, and putting it into your own pocket and not producing anything, the money was given in a check form to an aide. The aide cashes it and then donates through another person's name or under somebody else. You can't do that. That's called a straw donation. That's not legal. And then there is the case of many of the books not being produced. She's taken the money and she bought a house at almost 70 years old. She bought a house, paying down personal debt, all kind of things. So that's where the wire fraud and the conspiracy comes in. It's this whole big game she's playing. The federals are looking to receive $770,000 back from Miss Pugh. That includes the home she bought, if she got a car, and other assets. When she first got, quote unquote, resigned a few months ago, the federals came in and raided, it may have been her house or her business and a different business that she was known to frequent. So they're taking documents and all kind of evidence, and now you have a rock solid case against her. 11 counts. It's going to be a wrap. The age, they don't already complied. They've already reached a plea deal. They probably snitched on Ms. Pugh. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But when the federals come knocking, it's pretty much a wrap. The conviction rate is like 98%. You have a very, very small chance of being able to defeat the federals when it comes to a case like this, especially when there are people that may have snitched, when there's evidence, when there's so many different things. Like, they got records, they probably got pictures and canceled checks, all kind of stuff. Now, some may fear that Catherine Pugh may get off like Sheila Dixon did, who was also previously Baltimore's mayor. And I gotta say one thing here before we continue. At a certain point, when are we gonna do something different in Baltimore? I mean, you had Catherine Pugh. She about to get locked up. Stephanie Rawlings Blake before her. We gave them space to destroy. And then before Stephanie Rawlings Blake, you have Sheila Dixon stealing Target and Toys R Us gift cards for like $600, getting fur coats, all kind of stupid gifts. I mean, what are we doing? Now, back to Miss Dixon. She also got indicted, may have gotten arrested or whatever. She reached a deal to where it was no jail time. It was only probation, but that was much different. You're talking about much less money, a less organized scheme. It was no fraud going on as far as, hey, I have this thing I'm going to give you, but I don't give it to you. Hey, I'm on the board of a medical system. I'm going to give myself a contract for $100,000 and not even produce the contract in full. It's nothing like that. And she did not get approached by the federals. It was the local government that got her. You know, so when the federals come knocking, it's pretty much a wrap. You're doing some time. I don't see how she's going to get out of it. This is like Kwame Kilpatrick and Rod Blagojevich type stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's all kind of things here. It's just too much. She's definitely going to do some jail time. How much jail time will she get at 70 years old? I don't know. But I don't really see a way out of it. But back to what I was getting ready to say earlier. When are we going to do something different in Baltimore? You had Stephanie Rawlings Blake, Sheila Dixon, Catherine Pugh. Now you got Bernard Jack Young in there. I mean, let's try to do something different. Get some conservatives in there, something, because what's going on right now is not working. Baltimore is terrible. It's a bad place to be. Even Catherine Pugh said that it was a bad place back last year, 2018, while she was still the mayor. You could smell the dead animals, is that, and the third. She said that on TV. So it's not really racist to say that at all. Elijah Cummings himself said that 20 years ago while he was still kicking. This is not a thing that is a secret. Baltimore is going through some really tough times, and it's been like that for years and years and years. Let's try something different, because obviously what's going on right now, it ain't working. The city is still overrun with heroin, with rats, with trash, with corruption. Let's try something different. Maybe, just maybe, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that it was the right thing to do for the federals to come in and indict Catherine Pugh on these charges as it relates to the Healthy Holly book and a tax evasion? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or was it the incorrect thing to do? Is it a witch hunt? Is it racist? All these documents and stuff, or it's just not real documents. How do you feel about Baltimore in general? What can be the thing that changes them? I mean, there's been so many episodes of corruption. I've watched The Wire on HBO. They tackle the corruption, and it's like, I can't tell if it's art imitating life, life imitating art. I don't know what's going on, but it's so real in The Wire, because we see it happen every day in a lot of these city areas run by Democrats. Baltimore being like the poster child for what happens when you just evolve into liberalism and you just kind of let stuff go. All right. When you let corruption go and you don't really check behavior in the streets, something's got to give. And unfortunately, it's the regular everyday people in Baltimore who are going to suffer the most, while those at the top are going to continue to live high on the hog, at least for now. I mean, Catherine Pugh, had that been a millionaire, this right here, this is the state. as I close, this is how the deep state operates. These are how political figures become billionaires, almost. This is how Slick Willie and Al Gore and others get so much money. Obama, this is how they become rich off of being a politician. Things like this, unholy alliances and quid pro quo. Why they trying to attack Trump for quid pro quo? Look at the entire Washington, D.C. and politics in general and see what's going on. I bet you find some real episodes of quid pro quo. But whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.